right. Welcome, everyone. April 24th of 2015 marked the 100th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide. As we fast approach the 102nd next month, it is time for us to remember the struggles we've went through, the obstacles we've tackled throughout history, and despite these struggles, we are still here as survivors, and we have achieved very much. And let's discuss about the future as well tonight. Till now, 26 countries have recognized the Armenian Genocide. Many states have also recognized it by leading the way forward, such as New South Wales in Australia, and 45 states in the United States of America. Even the Pope 2 years ago publicly recognized it as well. While we talk about the present and the future, it is worth discussing what events transpired in the past, as well as what led to those events. So it all started in late 19th century when the ruler of the Ottoman Empire was Sultan Abdul Hamid II. A rebellion ensued, and later on it caught the name the Young Turk Movement. And leaders of this movement successfully suspended the Ottoman Constitution in 1878, and a couple of years later they formed their own government and they were the leaders. In 1914, the Turks joined World War I on the side of Germany and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. On April 24th of 1915, that's when the Armenian Genocide began. That day, the Turkish government arrested and executed several hundred Armenian intellectuals. After that, ordinary Armenians were turned away from their homes and sent on death marches through the Mesopotamian desert without food or water. Those who stopped to rest were shot immediately. 1.5 million Armenians were killed during the Armenian Genocide. While we discuss the events of the past, it is also worth noting that during the 100 years since the beginning of the Armenian Genocide, Turkish officials have refused to acknowledge those mass murders and deportations that constituted a genocide. But one thing is clear: there is no legitimate debate whatsoever that the Armenian Genocide occurred. But there is a disagreement on the how and why it occurred. According to the International Association of Genocide Scholars, I quote, "There may be differing interpretations of genocide, how and why it occurred, but to deny its factual and moral reality as genocide is not enough to engage in scholarship debate, but in propaganda and efforts to absolve the perpetrator, blame the victims, and erase the ethical meaning of this history." Now, if you ask outsiders, they will say that Armenians are united solely because of the Armenian Genocide. Well, I have observed Armenians, being one as well. I can tell you that that's not the only thing that binds us. In fact, we have rich culture, a long-lasting history. We have beliefs and values, and that's what binds us as a people. But it is understandable what non-Armenians do not understand, and it is primarily the situation we find ourselves in today. Obviously, there's a lot going on with today's geopolitics, and sometimes we as Armenians do forget that non-Armenians are not aware of the situation at hand. I, however, am thankful to be living in Canada as opposed to other countries, because we have the freedom of expression here, that is law, and we can have discussions like these tonight, whereas in other countries you will be imprisoned for even saying the words the Armenian Genocide. Our goal as Concordia's Armenian Students Union is to not only bring the Armenian Genocide into light, but also to engage in intellectual discussions on how these inhumane atrocities can be prevented in the future, and also focus on the present as well, where we find ourselves in. Because, as Pope Francis said not long ago, you can conceal or deny evil from its existence, but if it keeps bleeding without bandaging it, it's not useful. There are some countries who have recognized the Armenian genocide, but there's still a lot more that haven't. In fact, it can be because of too much indifference around the world and denial as well. We, as the executives of the Concordia Armenian Students' Union, in collaboration with the International Ethnic Associations Council, we are here to confront these issues head on and to engage in such debate. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome all of you, either live or watching, to engage in our symposium, because as Armenian President Sarkisyan said, recognition of the genocide is not the world's tribute to the Armenian people, but it is rather the triumph of human conscience and justice over intolerance and hatred. Thank you.